Welcome back to the final part of this series, Why Relationships Get Hard After Kids. In part one, we explored the reality of how life changes after children. In part two, we looked at stress, conflict, and the mental load. In this final video, we're going to focus on practical strategies that can help couples communicate more effectively, reconnect, and strengthen their relationships. So let's get started. One of the biggest conceptions about healthy relationships is that they don't have conflicts. They do. Healthy couples disagree. Healthy parents lose their patience sometimes. Healthy relationships have misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and difficult days. The difference isn't whether mistakes happen. The difference is what happens afterwards. Many of us grew up in homes where conflict was never repaired. Many people yelled and then pretended nothing happened. Maybe difficult conversations were avoided. Maybe apologies were rare. And adults were often as adults we often carry those patterns into our own relationships without even realizing it. But one of the most powerful things that we can teach our children is that relationships can recover after mistakes. Repair might sound like, I'm so sorry. I can see why you were upset. I didn't handle that very well. Can we start again? Repair doesn't require perfection. It requires humility. It requires accountability. And it requires recognizing that being right is often less important than protecting the relationship. In fact, some researchers suggest that conflict itself isn't what damages relationships most. It's unresolved conflict. It's the hurt that never gets acknowledged, the apology that never comes, the conversation that never happens. Children don't need perfect parents. They need parents who show them what it looks like to take responsibility, make amends, and reconnect after things go wrong. Because that's a skill they'll carry into every relationship they have for the rest of their lives. If there is one practical strategy that can strengthen a relationship, it's creating regular opportunities to check in with each other. The mistakes many couples make is only taking their time to see the relationship when something has gone wrong. By then, frustration has been building for weeks or even months. Small annoyances have become resentments. Assumptions have replaced conversations, and both people can end up feeling disconnected. A simple weekly check-in can help prevent that. It doesn't need to be formal, and it doesn't need to take an hour. It can be 10 minutes over a cup of tea, a walk around the block, sitting outside after the kids have gone to bed. The goal isn't to solve every problem. It's not a planning meeting, and it's not a chance to criticize each other. It's an opportunity to stay connected. Some simple questions might be, how are you really going? What's been the hardest part of your week? What's going well? What support do you need from me right now? Is there anything that we need to talk about before it becomes a bigger issue? What I love about these conversations is that they help couples stay curious about each other. Because when you've been together for years, your partner is constantly changing, life circumstances change, stress changes, needs changed, and if we're not regularly checking in, it's easy to drift into assumptions. The goal isn't to have a perfect relationship. The goal is to stay connected enough that when challenges arise, you're facing them together rather than facing them on your own. 10-minute check-in each week might not sound like much, but over a year, that's more than 8 hours of intentional conversation. And those small investments often prevent much bigger problems later on. When was the last time someone asked you, what do you need right now? And when was the last time that you asked your partner that question? We've covered a lot of information in this video. We've talked about the realities of parenting, the mental load, the stress, communication, teamwork, appreciation, repair, and staying connected. But information on its own doesn't create change. Change happens when we take what we've learned and put it into practice. I'd like you to take a moment to think about your own relationship now. Not what your partner needs to do differently or what they should be doing. Just you. What's one small thing that you could do differently this week? Maybe it's showing more appreciation. Maybe it's apologizing for something that you've been avoiding. Maybe it's asking for help instead of trying to carry everything yourself. Maybe it's organizing that 10-minute check-in. Maybe it's giving your partner the benefit of the doubt when they're having a hard day. It doesn't have to be a big change. In fact, small changes are often the most sustainable because relationships aren't transformed by one grand gesture. They're transformed by small actions repeated consistently over time. So take a moment now and think about your one small step. You might even be able to write that one down. Because the people who leave here and take one action are much more likely to see a difference than those who simply leave with good intentions. As we come to an end, I'd like to leave you with a few key messages. Firstly, if your relationship changed after having children, you're not alone. In many ways, it would be unusual if it didn't. Children change our routines, priorities, responsibilities, finances, sleep, and the amount of time and energy that we have available. Secondly, stress affects how we communicate. Many of the behaviours that create conflict aren't coming from a bad place. They're often coming from exhaustion, overwhelm, pressure, and unmet needs. Thirdly, healthy relationships aren't built on perfection. They're built on teamwork. They're built on two people continuing to show up, support each other, and work through life's challenges together. And fourthly, small changes matter. Never underestimate the power of a thank you, a hug, a conversation, a coffee, a check-in, or simply making your partner feel seen and appreciated. And finally, connection can be rebuilt. No matter where your relationship is right now, positive change is possible. Relationships are not fixed. They grow, they change, they struggle, recover, and strengthen over time. The goal isn't become the perfect parent or have the perfect relationship. The goal is to keep learning, keep communicating, and keep choosing each other through the different seasons of life. And if there's one thing I'd love you to remember from today, it's this. Strong relationships aren't built by never facing challenges. They're built by facing those challenges together. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this presentation has given you some useful insights, practical ideas, and perhaps a little reassurance that many of the challenges parents experience are normal. Remember, relationships don't need to be perfect. Parenting doesn't need to be perfect. What matters is that we're willing to keep learning, keep communicating, and keep showing up for the people that we love. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the like button. It helps more families and parents find the content. I'd also love to hear from you. What resonated with you the most? What challenges have you experienced in your relationship after having children? And what has helped you stay connected as a couple? Leave your thoughts and your questions in the comments below so we can continue the conversation and learn from each other. If you'd like more information about my programs, workshops, and resources, head over to my website. And don't forget to follow me on social media and for more content on parenting, relationships, emotional well-being, and practical life skills. Thanks again for being here. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for joining me in this series. I hope you've taken away at least one idea that you can put into practice this week. Relationships don't need perfection. They need awareness, communication, and repair. If you found this series helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts or questions in the comments below. If you'd like more information about my programs and resources, visit my website. Until next time, take care and remember, life doesn't come with a manual, but we can certainly learn together.